thank you, Ken, for letting us to have an inside view into this very interesting and very also sensitive question, I can imagine. Any urgent question from the floor? If it is not the case, then let me to ask, last but not least, Nikos, who is going to speak about the copyright law policy making via multi-level consultations at the European level. Nikos is postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Antwerp, and he holds a master's in science of information at the Ionian University, and he also holds a PhD in political science and PhD in law in Australia. So we are very much looking forward to your talk. The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot for the acceptance and giving me the chance to present part of my research during your conference. And so I'd like to try to say that this is one of the perspectives that is going to be integrated in my postdoctoral research, which is about the, as I still call it, a Benegre case, relies on the jurisdictions of Belgium, the Netherlands, and Greece. But let's focus and concentrate on this presentation. So, multilevel governance has moved beyond its European setting and become an established concept applied to a wide range of political and policy settings. Probably you may ask, what's the problem? The problem is that the multi-level governance landscape is evolving rapidly, and through the settlement of public consultation that is producing a new dissemination of power. So, but you may also ask then, okay, why is this a problem? What's the justification for that? What are the reasons for this to be a problem? It is a problem as the literature shows that there is not yet a systematic examination of such multi-level approach. As public consultation is distinguished of a multi-level approach from multi-level approach, that means that if we, by integrating the multi-level approach to public consultation, there is a potential for added value and benefits for copyright policy makers. So where I stand, what is my proposal, my contribution in this discussion? So my contribution relies on the public consultation on the review of the European copyright regulations conducted in 2014. And next slides will also show details about the flow of the paper argument and help you understand in more details what it is all about. So this is a brief analysis of the paper, which is going to be chaptered in a edited volume by the Faculty of Law at the University of Antwerp. So it starts with some introductory notes in order to set up the theoretical background. The literature review that shows the current discussion around this topic, and then I also provide some conceptual foundations for those, as I call them, headlines of the paper, which is the public consultation and multi-level governance. And then I introduce the case study, the one that I just mentioned, and with the analysis of questions of the questionnaire that has been used. But as I mentioned, next slides will illustrate further what it is all about. And of course, the last section, section of conclusions. So there are three research questions for this paper. The first one is to what extent this consultation has impacted on the drafting of the directive. The second research objective, whether this consultation has impacted on the national law-making policies. And the last research question is whether improvement of the process of public consultation is required. Just as I also have a postscriptum over there, I mean a footnote regarding the second research question, because I realize that it's quite difficult at this moment to consider and examine whether there is impact on national lawmaking, because the transposition has recently started, as the directive was released, the final directive, so it's quite well discussed, released last April. So, and we need 24 months for transposition to the national law of the European member states. And so the research objective is to argue that multi-level consultations have the potential to improve, to better copyright governance. That's the main argument of the paper. The questionnaire, as I mentioned, of the public consultation, the one that has been used, is of 80 questions. I focused on 47 to 49 questions, which are more, it's about research. And these questions are chosen not randomly, based on the fact that my research investigates whether open science could be integrated into the European copyright framework in order to produce, disseminate, and preserve scientific information efficiently. This in turn will enhance the scope of scientific communication. So it's reasonable to consider responses by actors involved in the scholarly publishing research cycle. Their perspectives, as far as I'm concerned, should be considered in the phase of copyright regulations designation. So these are the number of responses and for the public consultation. I also need to say that also the European Commission received 11,000 messages from citizens. So I focused only on this, on the officially submitted questionnaires according to the platform that was offered from the European Commission for national stakeholders and European citizens. So the total of these responses is 6,915 responses. Though, as I mentioned, I'm furious regarding the actors involved in the scholarly publishing research cycle. So the first 5 categories, the first 5 type of response are in bold. So I codified these questionnaires, which is in total 4,600, I can't hold the exact number, but it was more than 4,500 responses. And over here it's, the codification was quite interesting. And these are, as you can see, I have the vertical divisions of the components. So as we checked before, from number 1 to number 5 are those that are of my interest and I would like to examine. And here I just present these categories horizontally, but this is for each member state share, which is really interesting, and I really findings are really important for my research. And I have to say that there were web consultations. So one finding that is really important is that, regardless that literature shows that in general public consultation really attracts all member states. For this public consultation, we have younger member states such as Slovenia, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Latvia, Hungary, and Romania and Croatia. So new member states also step in this process, which is really important. This is not a matter of consideration regarding the old member states. New member states already step in, and they just said that we are also here, and that's really interesting. Something else which is also important is that once again, according to the literature, usually industry is really greatly involved in this public consultations. However, in this consultation, I also observed that we had quite a variety of people involved in this, and organizations, non-governmental organizations. The European Association of Research Cyberspace, for instance, the Association of Film and Television Alliance, and universities at the same time, university libraries. And that's something that should be illustrated as beneficial and really important finding. However, I have to confess that it seems to me that something like a circle, which is what I mean by saying a circle, that the European Commission and the European institutions did not concentrate on the outcomes and the impact assessment of the consultation. They prefer to, that's why we reach the trialogue process, where we have the interinstitutional discussions. So I may say that there were wide consultations. However, the European institutions prefer to return back to their own discussions. So they didn't even assess quite more concretely the public consultation and all these wide perspectives that are received through this process. And so you may understand that there were some weak points for the process of public consultation. That's why this is the third question for my paper. And there's some proposals that could be effective in order to improve the process. Is organization of public seminars on national level, just to make people more aware of what's going on and what the European Commission, the intention of the European Commission is all about. I know it sounds a little bit quite weird, but according to countries, I mean, based to the experience I have from European countries I have already visited or studied or worked in, I may say that, for instance, in Greece, where I am originally from, there is not a really well-established connection between the Greek society and the European institutions. We do have European elections, but I'm afraid that European citizens are not fully aware of what does European Commission supposed to mean and what are the objectives. And so I suppose that on national level, something like a public seminar regarding this topic or forthcoming topics for the European Commission can be really beneficial for also the European Commission itself to produce something really efficient. And also another proposal that can also improve the process of public consultation is to establish an internal, let's say, an internal consultation framework with a step-by-step explanation of what and how to do based on previous experiences. This potentially can help the European Commission to conduct and improve public consultation in order to really examine and really consider the final outcomes of these consultations. So, thank you very much, and I hope that I was quite clear.
Thank you very much for sharing with us your views concerning the consultation processes, which, to my mind, contribute to democratization and transparency of the European legislation, which is something which is